Hello, so this is a guide for League starters. I noticed on YouTube that people are usually talking about, what are the best League start builds, what are the best mapping builds, but nobody talks about the actual specifics, like how do you take, a build and drive it such that you can, in an optimal fashion, reach the point where you can do maps, and you have like a lot of budget for it, and how to be efficient with your decisions, pretty much, how to choose the farming strat for a given build and how to optimize it, pretty much. So I'm gonna be talking about one such case study. This is a bone necro, and I have 24 hours on it. I just started the league a couple of days ago. I clocked in 24 hours on this character, and I'm gonna be talking about how to reach this state where you have you have 12k tooltip on your bone spear, and pretty much all the skillers except for one. This is going to be a torch, like a high rune, bunch of middle runes, and like a full set, and there isn't much to upgrade on this build. Like, this is doing cows in like 3.5 minutes or like 4 minutes tops, so this is pretty fine. And like, you could pretty much like make this build in a day, farm on it on for a couple of days, and then like pivot to like any build that you want, pretty much, right? But like, optimizing this is pretty much like the most important thing, because that gets your foot in the door, that takes you from level 1 all the way to whatever build that you want to have for mapping. Right, so I have chosen Hell Cows because if you are fighting Hell Cows, they are exclusively melee mobs. They do not shoot any projectiles, and you can pretty much like skip resistances. Also, if you're playing a Necro, you can skip FHR because you have bone armor, and what bone armor does, it is creating a shield that absorbs physical damage, and cows are pretty much almost exclusively physical. And as you can see, bone armor has a cow on it, therefore it shields you from cows. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? One thing worth noting is that in PD2, bone armor scales with energy. So if you put like 150 into energy, that's like 450-ish something, right? Damage on the absorption on the bone armor. If you're playing boner specifically, well, then you're gonna also put in like 20 hard points into this. With the skillers, you're gonna have 42 into this, which is like 1k, which is insane, right? So like, you're like never dying to a cow, pretty much, right? So this build is like kinda designed for the Hell Cows. So the one thing to note about Hell Cows also is that they have like 13k life or something, right? And they also have like very high elemental resistances. They have like 50% resistance across the board for like lightning, cold, and fire, but they only have 33 for poison and magic. And for the longest time, the best builds at doing cows early on League Start were the poison builds, because with 3P Strangle, you get minus 25% poison resistance on the mobs, right? So that is like very powerful if you played like something like Decrepify or Poison Nova, Necro, or that's very strong. Or if you're playing Rabies Druid, that is also very strong because that build scales like crazy. So poison builds are very good, but recently we also have gotten an Act 4 Merc, which basically you can grab a material, you go higher and choose light. And the light one has a Sanctuary Aura, which now reduces the enemy magic resistance, which at level 80 Merc is minus 15%. Which is pretty cool, because getting minus lightning, minus magic resistance is like really hard in this game, because there's no magic facets, there's nothing like that, right? There's no minus magic on gear, so this is like pretty much the only source of it you can find anywhere, which is pretty cool. But the aura is also limited. It's like roughly about this radius, so you have to be shooting point blank and teleporting in front of the cows to actually make use of it. So yeah, so as we talked, let's go over the gear. This is a wand, the +6 wand. I'm gonna be talking about how to get it later. Shaco, Harlequin Crest, pre-standard, Bone Flame, +3 to all skills, Amulet, +3 to all bone skills. This is Spirit Shroud with only +1. This could also be Quahagen's if you had a better arc and mesh with 15% cast rate, because then Quahagen's has 20% FCR, 15 on Arachnid Mesh, and you're gonna land exactly on 75 breakpoint. 2 ranks with 10 FCR, gloves are 20 FCR. This should be triangles, to be honest. This is slightly better because it has regenerate mana, but triangles allows you to like pivot into free piece triangles, which is slightly, only a slightly better setup than this. Okay, so the way you get a wand. Oh, and these are like pretty much skillers. Like this is what you buy with your runes and warstone shards, pretty much. Like that's your main focus after getting a neck, after getting Bone Flame, and well, possibly Shaco. But like this could be lore, and you could be like investing into these. So like you don't have to go Shaco. This is just +2. Could be lore, and just another skiller. So in Act 2, if you go to Drognen and you look at his weapons, you can pretty much like hover over the weapons, and if you have like special loot filter, you can see things like +3 curses or +2 all necro skills or +3 PNB and things like that. Like if you like add those entries into your loot filter, you can make the title a different color, so it's easier to like scan through these and only look at those that are like worthy looking at. So if we like reset this bunch of times, right, and talk with Drognen, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Again, 3 curses, once again. Running outside and inside the location pretty much resets, right? Okay, so here there's an interesting Clay Golem wand, +5 to Clay Golem and 20 FCR. I'm not gonna buy it because I never heard about Clay Golem build. Actually, I'm gonna keep it for collection. There we go. 3 PNB with Confuse. We're only looking at +5 and up, pretty much. Nothing. So the loot filter is pretty much allowing you to scan these faster. Okay, there's 3 curses, 18 energy. And if you like do this for long enough, you're gonna start seeing like pretty insane ones. Okay, so we have 3 curses, 3 bone armor, 2 skeleton mastery. Like that's a lot of skills, right? Let's do one more. Okay, didn't get anything. Anyway, so I've been doing this for a while, and pretty much the ones that I got are all of these, right? This is +5 Bone Spear, this is +6 Skeleton Warrior, this is +5 Skeleton Archer, this is +5 Corpse Explosion, this is +4 Poison Nova and 30% cast rate. This is +5 Poison Nova with 9 energy, and then I have like 2 +6 Desecrate ones, both with like roughly 20 energy. So, and yeah, and then I landed on this, right? So this is the one that I'm using, 3 PNB, 3 Bone Spear, and there's a jewel that gives me 3 mana on kill, which I picked up off the ground. So when it comes to this gear, most of it is self-found. I only bought Shaco, I only bought Bone Flame, and I bought Arachnid Mesh. That's it. So like you could do this, on your own. Well, and buying skillers, like all of these skillers, like I pretty much bought, right? So that's what you're like focusing on, like trying to get 75 FCR, getting as many old skills that you can, and then like focusing on like just getting full inventory of like all skill charms. And one thing that is worth noting is that with these, there's actually a better way of doing these, which is going for the large charms that give you skill damage. So here you can see a bunch of poison skill damage charms, like large charms. If I was like playing a poison build, I would be using those. You could also have the same for magic damage, right? And that would be like more damage than these. But the thing is, like each of those is roughly as expensive as a skiller. So, and because these are large charms, you need like 2 of these in a column to actually, you know, get better results than one PNB. And that makes it like twice as expensive, pretty much. So that is a better path if you want to be playing a, you know, a magic damage build. But I do not have such ambitions. I want to pivot towards a Poison Dagger at some point. Therefore, PNB is way more flexible for me because, you know, Poison Dagger is also PNB. So that gives me extra flexibility, extra pivotability towards a build that is actually, you know, the build that I'm like planning to use on mapping. So I can play Bone Spear, Cows, you know, until I get enough, you know, HRs, enough budget to actually get the final build that I actually need. That is even better for mapping than the Bone Spear build. So yeah, that's the gear. So here's a little bit tips on gameplay. I'm gonna grab a book to open the cow level. This is like a very quick guide on how to do cows. So first of all, if you're running from the waypoint, look for the road. So if there's a wall here, the road is probably somewhere there. If you see elites like that, kill them, pick up the potions, because 100 big potions is an ist rune. So keep that in mind. I have like 170 potions now, so you know, almost 200. Pick up rubies, of course, for crafting and whatnot. And here's the road. So usually, if waypoint is on one side, then the teleport is on the other, but this is not the case on this level. The portal is here. 1765 again. I usually go here because there's like a pack or 2 inside, and then I pick up the word slag, and there we go, right? I keep the cube on me so I can open it right away, enter the cow level. Okay, so I usually like summon a bunch of revives. Oh, there's some amulet, maybe it's Mara. And pretty much what you want to be doing, ideally, is to like have a bunch of those cows and then like cast across so you can get as many of them as you can, right? If you go to like the edge, you can like pretty much have them all aligned in a line, right? Because they're gonna be like following you, right, and like tanking all of those bone spear hits. So that is one way to do it. Another way to do it is also what I call a shotgun, which is basically if you target, like it actually depends, like where is your right mouse button when you're casting bow spear. Like the closer it is to your character, the more spread you get, right? So right now this is the max spread, and what you want ideally is this, right? So you want to train yourself to like be casting this because this is like the most AoE, right? So see how, you know, they all die. And the Berg has an aura which has limited radius, so you want to be standing like point blank with the cows pretty much. And if you can 2-shot them and you have bone armor, like you're pretty much safe, you know, shotgunning them like this. Another ring. Well, before I had amulet, not really ring. So yeah, so that is what you do. Pretty good AoE, you know about the across, you know about the shotgun. Yeah, that's how we clear the entire level. And I really hope that in a couple of upgrades I'm gonna be able to one-shot these, which is going to make it much faster, and I will also have my teleport reduced to 0 cooldown, which is also going to make this run a lot faster, because I'm not gonna have to rely on run walk and casting the teleport now and then, but instead I'll be casting teleport all the time. But yeah, this is still transitional phase. This is still not a full build. This is just, you know, one day in. But this is what you can expect, which is you know, 4 minutes for a run. It's pretty solid. Could probably reduce it to like 2 minutes with like one-shotting them with 1 spears and the teleport 0 cooldown, which would actually make it twice as efficient at clearing. And you know, if you can do like what, 12 cow runs an hour, and suddenly that becomes like 25 or 30 runs an hour, well, that's the big difference. So it is worth investing into torch and whatnot, just to get that point. So yeah, I'll maybe do like an update when I, you know, test the three-piece triangle with this, because I'm pretty sure three-piece triangle beats this slightly, and I'm probably gonna have a torch soon. So. Go. Okay. So that is the entire run. Let's see what we got. Garbage. 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 I don't know about this, but this is Vulkatos wedding one. Holy smokes. Nice. Oh, that's additional skill. And then we have... this is only... I think this is useless, to be honest. And this is also nothing. Attack rating percentage, life steal to resistances. Maybe this is worth something, whatever. Right, so... there's a few more tips. So if you're like in a like very early phase, right, and you're like struggling and all you have really is gold and you don't have like, you know, the Warstone shards, anything, and you need your amulet still, or maybe even a helmet, then you should go ahead and gamble for it, right? So the first priority is amulet, right? Like you want to be getting the +3 shapes shifting skills on druid and 20 energy. Nice. So you just refresh, buy a bunch of amulets, right? And maybe you're gonna get the one that you want. If you don't, then you can maybe sell it, you know, and buy the one that you need. Right? So that is bad. That is bad. That is bad. +2 NMF also bad. Yeah, but we have +3 shape shifting. So the same thing you can do with circlets, right? So here's the circlet. Oh, there we go. +3 shadow discipline circlet. That's how you do it. I also got 40% run walk shoes here, right? So this is like the third priority after you get the neck and the helmet, the circlet. You can go for boots. I prefer Shaco to circlet because it's one less skill, but this is like making the teleport, you know, faster, right? Because this also gives you summoning skills. And I would probably go for Free Strangle for the same reason. So I can accelerate towards the point where I can actually spam the teleport, because it's going to make me much faster. Right, so yeah, I can sell this. I can sell this now. And yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do with Vulkatos. I'm gonna need a little bit of more FCR on this to actually get that one additional old skill. Because I don't want to drop to the lower FCR threshold, sadly. But yeah, if I got 15% cast speed Arachnid Mesh, I would be able to equip this without losing anything. Yeah. So that is the build. You know what to do with gold, you know how to get the wand, you know how to get the other stuff, you know how to prioritize, you know, the things. you know how that you should be focusing on cows, and basically, well, from that point onward, it's up to you, right? Do you want to farm cows for high runes because high runes drop at the cow level, and then invest them into like another character, or do you want to stick with this? Because if you want to stick with this, you should probably go for the magic large charms instead of those killers. But if you don't, if you would rather go like something like Poison Dagger, well, then this is probably like the best way to go about it. So yeah, that's the build, that's the strat. Hope you learned something, and see you guys next time.